2025-2026 English 3 curriculum for the third 9 weeks. Unit 3 begins with priority standards. Teachers will internalize and break down each with the instructional coach and PLC team at each campus. There are 42 instructional days for the third 9 weeks. It begins January 7th and concludes March 6th. Let's briefly explore each of the subunits. Teachers, please view and use the model pacing calendar on page 1 of the guide. There are important dates, tasks, and time durations given.
In this unit on conflict and Cold War, students will prepare for reading The Crucible by exploring background information about anti-communist sentiments in American and Puritan lifestyle in the colonial era. Sub-Unit 1 is titled Faith and Doubt, Puritan Paradoxes. Students will explore literature that reflects Puritan beliefs and their way of life. Students will deepen their understanding of how Puritanism helped shape the recurring theme of the American identity and how each led to a shift in the American literary voice.
Sub-Unit 1 is 10 instructional days, 5A and 5B days. Students will become familiar with the colonial period by reading Jonathan Edwards' famous sermon, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, and Nathaniel Hawthorne's dark romantic short story, Young Goodman Brown. Students will annotate the texts, analyze the texts for literary and rhetorical devices, answer guided reading questions, and continue practicing short and extended constructed responses.
In Sub-Unit 2, students will examine the dangers of communism.
Sub-Unit 2 is 6 instructional days, 3A days and 3B days. Teachers will guide students through 2 thematically linked poems. Students will then examine a speech. Please view pages 10 through 13 for suggested texts and suggested short constructed response prompts. There are also additional text suggestions to build background knowledge for students prior to reading The Crucible.
In Sub-Unit 3, teachers will guide students through a dramatic study centered on McCarthyism and the 1950s Red Scare. Students will begin by examining Arthur Miller's dramatization of the Salem witch trials as an allegory for the political persecution of the time. Students will compare the play to McCarthy's famous speech against hidden communists in America and the events which unfolded at the time. Students will also examine various literary elements with the goal of identifying key American traits in literature and how they helped establish the literary American identity of the 1940s and 50s.
Sub-Unit 3 is 26 instructional days, 13A days and 13B days. Teachers will guide students through the drama, The Crucible. Students should respond to short constructed response prompts, either teacher-generated during PLC time or from suggested prompts. Students in English 3 should also continue learning about the elements of argument. Students should analyze texts for clear and arguable claims, use of rhetorical appeals, and a convincing conclusion. Students should also analyze text for various types of evidence and counter-arguments, to include concessions and rebuttals. Students should continue to write using clear and arguable claims, rhetorical appeals, various types of evidence, counter-arguments, to include concessions and rebuttals, and a convincing conclusion. At the conclusion of the study of the play, students should respond to 1 extended constructed response prompt, either teacher-generated during PLC time or from suggested prompts. It is still suggested that 11th grade ELAR students use Khan Academy's digital SAT test preparation at least 30 minutes per week.
This concludes the preview of the English 3, third 9 weeks. Thanks for watching.